What's up, nightmares? Welcome back to American Nightmares, the channel where we dive deep into the darkest, most twisted true crime stories this country has ever seen. If you're new here, do me a favor real quick. Smash that subscribe button, slam the bell, because you are not going to want to miss what's coming. Tonight, we're talking about a case that still gives me chills every single time I think about it. Imagine you're 14 years old. Your feet are shredded from brand new boots. A friendly-looking guy in a pickup truck rolls up and says, "Hey kid, you need a ride?" You hesitate, but your feet hurt so bad, you finally say yes. 9 months later, you walk back into your house looking like a ghost. That actually happened. Question for y'all in the comments right now. If a stranger offered you a ride home tonight, would you take it? Yes or no? Drop it below. Because after you hear what happened to Abigail Hernandez in the mountains of New Hampshire, I guarantee your answer is going to change. This is the full, uncut, terrifying story of how one kind stranger turned a 14-year-old honor roll girl into a prisoner in a soundproof shipping container just 35 miles from her own bedroom. Let's get into it.
October 2013, North Conway, New Hampshire. Little mountain town, population barely 2,300. The kind of place where everybody knows everybody, doors stay unlocked, and kids walk home from school without a second thought. This is where 14-year-old Abigail Maria Hernandez, Abby to everyone who loved her, was living her best life. Born October 12, 1998, right on the banks of the Merrimack River in Manchester, Abby was the baby of the family. She had one older sister, Sarah, who she was glued to. These two told each other everything, no secrets ever. Mom, Xenia Hernandez, worked long shifts as a nurse at the local hospital. Dad, Ruben, was a sales rep. Decent money, nice house, the whole American dream package. Until middle school, when the marriage fell apart. Ruben moved out, remarried fast, started a whole new family. The birthday cards and Christmas checks still came for Abby and Sarah, but the relationship, pretty much gone. Abby didn't let it break her. If anything, it lit a fire under her. This girl was a straight-up force of nature. Honor roll student at Kennett High School, spoke Spanish fluently, was picking up French on the side, played soccer, ran track, drew incredible sketches, took photography seriously enough that her pictures were hanging in local cafes. And outdoors? Obsessed. Joined an outdoor adventure club at 12, learned wilderness survival, could start a fire with 2 sticks and pure determination. Her friends described her the same way every single time police asked. Abby was the girl who could light up any room, fearless, always smiling, the one person you wanted on your team when shit got hard. Fall 2013, Abby was on top of the world. She had just started dating a boy named Jimmy. Sweet kid, 1 year older, total gentleman. Xenia knew about it, gave it her blessing. Life was good. Then her 15th birthday rolled around the corner, and everything exploded.
Wednesday, October 9th, 2013. Abby wakes up hyped. 2 reasons. Fall break starts tomorrow. She just got handed a pair of brand new, top-of-the-line hiking boots as an early birthday gift, perfect for the big White Mountains trip she had planned with the outdoor club. Only problem? They pinched like hell. Abby being Abby, she decided to break them in that day, wore them straight to school. By last period, she was dying. Blisters on blisters, toes screaming. But she powered through, because that's who she was. 3:05 p.m. Bell rings. All her friends pile onto the yellow school bus. Abby waves goodbye. She only lives about 1.5 miles away. Normally, an easy walk. Today, pure torture. She starts limping down the road, Route 16, trying not to cry every time the boots rubbed raw skin. That's when the pickup truck appears. Older model, dark blue or black. Witnesses would argue about the color later. Driver rolls the window down slow. "Hey, sweetheart, you okay? You're walking like those shoes are killing you." Abby looks up. The guy behind the wheel looks normal. Mid-30s, short brown hair, friendly smile, flannel. Nothing screaming predator. She forces a laugh. "Yeah, new boots. Stupid idea." I'm heading that way anyway, he says, nodding down the road. Hop in, save your feet. Every single stranger danger talk her mom ever gave her flashed through her head. But her feet were on fire, and he seemed so nice. After a couple seconds of hesitation, she opened the door and climbed in. That was the last time anyone saw Abigail Hernandez for 285 days. Let me introduce you to the man sitting in that truck, Nathaniel Evan Kibbe, born July 15, 1980. Same state, same small-town New Hampshire vibe as Abby, only he was the polar opposite of everything she was. Raised by a single mom, no dad in the picture. School records paint a nightmare, constant fights, bullying smaller kids, keeping a literal hit list of classmates he wanted to hurt. Teachers were terrified of him. Cops knew him before he could even drive. Teen years, gang member, obsessed with guns, in and out of juvenile court for assault, drugs, theft. Somehow, always skated with a warning or probation. Graduated high school, barely, got a machining job, seemed like he might turn it around, then quit after blowing up at his boss. By 2013, 33-year-old Nate Kibbe was living in a rundown trailer in Gorham, New Hampshire, 35 miles north of Abby's house. Neighbors avoided him. He had this creepy, quiet rage that made your skin crawl. And he had already tried this once before. Spring 2013, 6 months before Abby disappeared, Kibbe pulled the exact same move on another 15-year-old girl waiting at a bus stop. Grabbed her, tried to force her into his truck. She fought like hell, screamed, people ran over, he sped off. Police took statements, victim ID'd him, and somehow, the case got dropped. No charges, he walked. That failure only made him smarter the second time. Back to October 9th. Abby buckles her seatbelt. The guy, she still doesn't know his name, starts driving, making small talk. Weather, spool, hiking. He's good at it. Disarmingly normal. Then he goes, "Hey, I gotta swing by the hardware store real quick, grab something for work. 2 minutes." Abby says, "Sure." He pulls into a dark, empty parking lot behind a closed strip mall. No hardware store in sight. The vibe shifts instantly. Abby's stomach drops. She reaches for the door handle. Too late. Kibbe grabs a fistful of her jacket with one hand, yanks a handgun from the glove box with the other, shoves it against her temple. "Move and I blow your fucking brains out." She freezes. Zip ties come out, wrists, ankles. He jams a baseball cap over her eyes so she can't see. She starts hyperventilating, begging. He tases her in the neck. Everything goes black. When she comes to, she's being dragged across gravel. She hears a padlock click, metal doors screech open. She's thrown inside something that smells like oil and rust. A shipping container, 20-foot steel box hidden behind his trailer, tucked in the woods, surrounded by no trespassing signs. He duct tapes her mouth, tapes her eyes shut under a motorcycle helmet, zip ties her to a metal loop bolted to the floor. And then he rips her clothes off and rapes her for the first time. Welcome to 9 months of living hell.
For the first month, Abby barely saw daylight. Temperatures inside that container swung from freezing to 110 degrees. No toilet, just a bucket. Kibbe fed her when he felt like it, mostly ramen and fast food. Sometimes nothing for days. He assaulted her daily, sometimes multiple times. Used condoms so there'd be no DNA evidence if anyone ever found her body. He had rules. Call him Master. Never ask his real name. Never scream. The walls were soundproofed with foam and insulation. If she ever tried to escape, he'd kill her family and bury her in the woods where no one would ever find her. He kept a loaded gun on him at all times. Showed her photos of her house, her mom's car, Sarah's school, proof he could get to them anytime. Abby went into pure survival mode. She started trying to humanize herself, told them about her dreams, her hiking trips, her little nieces and nephews, tried to make him see her as a person. Sometimes it worked. He'd bring her a book or a candy bar. Sometimes it backfired. He'd beat her unconscious for talking too much.
November 2013. The entire state is losing its mind looking for Abby. Hundreds of volunteers, FBI, search dogs, helicopters. Her face is on every news station from Boston to Portland. Kibby watches it all on TV and gets an idea. He forces Abby to write a letter to her mom. He dictates every word. "Mom, I'm so sorry for leaving. I'm safe and healthy. Please don't worry. I love you and Xenia so much. Dreams come true." He makes her date it, sign it, mails it from a random mailbox 50 miles away. The letter hits the Hernandez mailbox like a bomb. Handwriting experts confirm 100% Abby wrote it. Instantly, the runaway theory explodes. News starts saying maybe she got pregnant, maybe she was scared to come home. Sarah and Xenia lose their minds. That's not Abby! She would never do this! FBI quietly shifts gears. They now believe she's being held captive and forced to write it. They were right.
While the world searched, Kibby was living his best life. He had a full-blown counterfeit operation running out of that trailer. High-end printer, special paper, the works. Printing fake 20s and $50 bills. He even started trusting Abby enough to bring her inside the trailer sometimes. Still zip-tied, still blindfolded half the time, but she could shower, watch TV, cook. That's how she stayed alive, by playing the perfect prisoner. She learned his routines, learned he was paranoid schizophrenic off his meds, learned he kept the container key on a chain around his neck even when he slept. She started secretly counting days by scratching tiny marks under the cot with a broken fingernail.
Here's the part that still makes my blood boil. Spring 2014, Kibby gets busted for illegal firearms again. Cops show up with a search warrant, they tear the trailer apart, confiscate guns, find counterfeit plates, the whole nine. The shipping container is literally 40 feet away, padlocked. Guess what they never checked? Yup, because Kibby cooperated, he got a fine and walked. Again! Abby heard the cops laughing and joking with him while she was chained up dying inside that box.
July 2014. Kibby's ego is through the roof. He's untouchable. He goes to a dive bar, picks up a woman named Lorraine, takes her back to the trailer, hooks up. Next morning, feeling generous, hands her two $50 bills for gas money. Lorraine tries to buy cigarettes later that day. Cashier holds the bills to the light, starts laughing. They're fake. Obviously fake. Lorraine loses it. Calls Kibby screaming, "You gave me counterfeit money, you piece of shit. I'm calling the cops right now." Kibby hangs up and panics hard. He knows another search warrant is coming. This time they'll tear the whole property apart. For the first time in 9 months, he's scared. Sunday, July 20th, 2014. Kibby yanks Abby out of the container, throws her stuff in a plastic bag, her phone, her wallet, even the hiking boots that started it all. He zip-ties her hands, puts her in the passenger seat, pulls the familiar baseball cap over her eyes. Abby is convinced this is it. He's taking her into the woods to kill her. 2 hours north, middle of nowhere, he pulls over on a deserted road. Cuts the zip ties. Get out. Abby stumbles out, blinking in the sunlight she hasn't seen in almost a year. "And if you ever tell anyone it was me, I'll kill your whole family." He floors it and disappears. Abby starts walking. No idea where she is, legs shaky from months of malnutrition and abuse. She walks for hours until she sees her road sign, Conway, 17 miles. She knows that name. She's less than 20 miles from home. 2 more hours of limping along the highway, and then she sees her street. Front door ring camera catches the exact moment at 4:47 p.m. A skeletal girl in dirty clothes walks up the driveway, hair hacked short with kitchen scissors, face hollow. She rings the bell. Xenia opens the door mid-phone call with a detective. The phone hits the floor. Xenia screams, "Abby!" They collapse into each other, sobbing so hard the camera shakes. 9 months. 285 days, it's over.
First 48 hours after Abby came home, police begged her for the name. Abby refused. She was still brainwashed. Still believed he'd kill her family if she talked. She made up a story. "I don't remember anything. I think I ran away. I was in a fog." Cops knew she was lying. Xenia knew. For 7 straight days, Abby barely slept. Nightmares every time she closed her eyes. Finally, on July 27, 2014, she sat her mom down and whispered the name, Nathaniel Kibbe. Gave him the truck, make, model, and license plate. Less than 24 hours later, July 28th, police kick in Kibbe's trailer door. He doesn't even fight, just smirks and says, "Took you long enough."
Search teams finally opened that shipping container. What they found still haunts the detectives. Chains bolted to the floor, Abby's blood and hair embedded in the walls, broken fingernails where she tried to claw her way out, her DNA on every surface, the motorcycle helmet with duct tape still stuck to it, dozens of used condoms in a trash bag. They also found the counterfeit operation, child pornography on his computer, and journals where he wrote about owning Abby forever. Case closed. Slam dunk. May 2016. Kibbe takes a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. New Hampshire still had it back then. He's sentenced to 45 to 90 years. At sentencing, Abby, now 17, stands up and does something no one expected. She looks Kibbe dead in the eye and says, "I forgive you. Not for you, for me. Because of you, I appreciate every single day I get to breathe free air. I appreciate my mom hugging me goodnight. I appreciate the sound of rain on a real roof. You took 9 months of my life, but you don't get to take the rest of it." The courtroom is dead silent. Then she walks out with her head high.
Abigail Hernandez is 27 years old today. She changed her name, moved out of state, got married, had a little girl of her own. She's a wilderness therapy counselor now, helps traumatized kids heal through hiking and camping, the very things she once loved. Nathaniel Kibbe is serving his 4590 at New Hampshire State Prison. He'll be eligible for parole in 2059 when he's 79. Abby has vowed to be at every single parole hearing to make sure he dies behind bars. And those hiking boots that started it all? They're in the New Hampshire State Police evidence locker, still stained with the blood from the blisters that put her in the wrong truck on the wrong day. Final thoughts from your host. So that's the full story of Abigail Hernandez, one of the longest non-fatal kidnappings in American history. One simple decision, accepting a ride from a stranger, cost her 285 days of her childhood. But it didn't cost her her spirit. Nightmares, I want to hear from you. Do you think Abby forgiving Kibbe was true strength or too much? After everything you just heard, would you ever get in a car with someone you didn't know? And most importantly, why the hell did police never check that container the first 3 times they were on his property? Drop your thoughts below. I read every single comment. If this story hit you hard, do 3 things for me. Smash that like button. Subscribe to American Nightmares and hit the bell. We drop long-form cases like this every single week. Share this video with one person who needs to hear it. You might just save a life. Until next time, lock your doors, trust your gut, and stay safe out there. This has been American Nightmares. We'll see you in the dark.